Hello and welcome here to Talk SCB, and welcome back to another video here on the channel today. And I'm going to be talking about something which quite a few of you have been asking, and quite a few people I think are wondering if this transfer could go ahead. So I'm going to be talking about today Miralem Pjanić, the Roma midfielder, Bosnia and Herzegovina international, and he is on the agenda today. We're going to be discussing whether he could be at the Camp Nou next season and whether we are actually interested in signing him. Now it's quite interesting to hear the stories that are coming out, and by the way, this is not only Spanish media but also Italian media are reporting our interest in Pjanić. It's come out over the last week or so that we are actually the front runners at the moment to sign this player. Now what I would say about that is it's all about Roma. This is about Roma possibly stirring up the story because they're apparently under some financial problems at the moment. They're looking to sell possibly some of their players. Miralem Pjanić has a €38 million release clause, and apparently there's a number of big clubs that are interested in taking him off Roma's hands. Now Roma don't really want to sell Pjanić, but of course if the release clause is met, which is quite low considering how much of a big player he is for them, if that release clause is met, of course there's nothing that they can do about it. So there's been a number of clubs apparently interested. Real Madrid apparently interested, Chelsea, Manchester United, Manchester City, all the big English clubs reportedly interested in signing Pjanić, and now this week it's come out that possibly, according to Bleacher Report, according to ESPN, and according to Gazzetta in Italy, that's the big Italian paper, they're saying that we're willing to meet that 38 million release clause and that we are actually front runners to sign the midfielder. Now, I'm not sure about this. Personally, right now at this very moment, I'm not particularly sure this is the player that we're looking at, this is the player that they're going to be going after. I don't think that Pjanić is top of our radar. I don't think he's a priority right now, but at the same time, I think there is an element of truth to it, because I think Pjanić is the type of player who would suit our midfield, who would suit our style of play. He's a player that is very, very good on the ball. He's got a fantastic first touch. He's got an eye for a pass. He's got terrific vision, and he's able to control the tempo of a game, which is something that we are very much lacking at the moment. So there's no doubt that if Pjanić came in, he'd be an excellent signing. He'd be somebody who could complement our squad perfectly. He's a brilliant, brilliant player. And I think what he would do as well is give us a number of options. Because I think when we had Xavi, in the last season that we had Xavi, of course, Rakitic started most games. But there was the occasion, and many occasions really, where Xavi came off the bench, or Xavi started a certain game, and he came on and he controlled it. And he slowed the game down, he dictated the tempo, he wore the opposition down, and he made sure that we were in control. And I think that control element last season was lost. I think that, because of that, we suffered from a lot of fatigue because we're so busy chasing down teams and chasing games at times. I think we could do with a little bit of control back in our squad. I don't think it needs to be robotic. I don't think we need to go back to the old way of playing, which is predictable. I like the new style. I like the fact that we're a bit unpredictable. I like the fact that we can go forward on the counter-attack. But at the same time, it would be nice to have that element of control. And certainly Pjanić is a player that could certainly bring that to our team. So certainly be a player that we could do with, player that we'd like to sign. But at €38 million, it's going to take a lot, and I think it's for that fact, I don't really believe we're going to get him right now. And the reasoning for that is we've got bigger priorities, we've got bigger fish to fry. I think once we sort out deals for a centre-back, once we possibly sort out deals for a full-back, and also get the Denis Suarez deal sorted, if we've still got the money then, if we can still get the money for this transfer, possibly it could go ahead. And of course any deals sort of rest on who we sell. Now if for instance we were to sell somebody like our Turan, Alex Vidal, possibly you could see a window open up, we could go and sign Miralem Pjanić. But right now at this very moment in the squad the way that it is, the amount of midfield players that we do have, I don't particularly see this deal going ahead. But at the same time I'm not ruling it out completely, because like I say, I think he's a player that the whole club would like. I think he'd fit in seamlessly. I think he's already done it throughout his career. If you look at his career in numbers, it really is a fantastic player that we're looking at here. He came through the Metz Youth Academy. He then went to Lyon in the Liga 1. He played 90 games for Lyon. Then he was transferred to Roma, where he's gone on to make over 150 appearances in the league, scoring 27 goals in all. And if you have a look at his stats from this season just gone, really, really impressive stats. He started 30 games, made 3 appearances as a substitute, scored 10 goals and registered 12 assists. Now, I think for a midfield player to be in double figures in both goals and assists, that's really impressive for me. I think a player in the midfield role that's capable of doing that is somebody that really, really is a good talent. In the Champions League, he played all seven of Roma's games in the Champions League, including 2 games against ourselves in the groups. He scored 2 goals and got 1 assist in the Champions League, and he made 1 appearance also in the Coppa Italia. He will be playing for Bosnia. He's a really good player for Bosnia, very much a key player there. They didn't really make the European Championships, unfortunately for them. He played very well in the 2014 World Cup. I remember that very strongly. Even then, I think we were linked with him. He's a player that's 5'11". He's quite a stocky build. He's able to hold off players. He's able to use his strength, but he's also a very technical player. That's the player that he is. Somebody who likes to have the ball, somebody who likes to use it, somebody who likes to be in control of the game. And like I say, I think he is a player that could certainly suit our style of play, and he is certainly a player that we have scouted in the past. So I wouldn't say this is absolutely out the window. I think certainly these reports have certainly got substance behind it, whether Roma are looking to move him on. But like I say, that release clause, if that release clause is met, they've got no choice. They have to sell him. But I also say there's a lot of other clubs interested. So what I would like to say is that he will be expensive in terms of his transfer fee, and because of the other clubs fighting for his signature, and if they all meet the 38 million release clause, he's then got the pick of the clubs. We're going to have to pay a lot of wages to get him here, over 100,000 a week, I would imagine. Now, I want to know what you guys think, because I think looking at this deal, like I say, I think Pjanić is a fantastic player. But at the moment, if you look at our midfield, we've got Andres Iniesta, we've got Rakitic, we've got Rafinha, we've got Arda Turan, we've got Sergio Roberto, possibly Sergi Samba could be promoted this summer. You look at Denis Suarez, who's going to come in and get signed. He may work in the front three, but it's also possible that he could play in midfield as well. So with all those players that I just mentioned, is it really necessary for us to go and spend 38 million on a midfielder? Probably not. But like I say, if a player goes out, if a player leaves the club, you could possibly see that window open up. And if at the end of the transfer window, or when we got all our business done, we've got some money to spare, possibly we could go in and sign him. But if we look at what we came at earlier this week, apparently we've got 60 million in our budget to spend on transfers. 38 million of that going on Pjanić is an awful big percentage. So I think it's going to rely on player sales. I think it's going to rely on how much we sign our targets for. We've heard about Samuel Umtiti coming in. That could be 20 to 25 million. He could possibly serve as the left back as well. But then you look at the right back, we may well go out and sign a new right back. And also Denis Suarez coming in for about 3 to 5 million euros. So it's going to be whether we've got the money for it. It's going to be whether the wages are going to be affordable for us in terms of our already big wage structure. It's going to be whether Miralem Pjanić wants to come. It's going to depend on what the other clubs are offering. And it's also going to depend on Roma. They may well choose to offer Pjanić a new deal if they get themselves out of these financial problems that they're in. I don't know an awful lot about that. But I think he's a good player. I take nothing away from him. He's a really good player with a really good season just behind him. It's a real shame that he's not going to be at the Euros. He's a player that I would like to enjoy watching. But like I say, I watched him quite extensively at the 2014 World Cup, and he's a player that really does excite you from that midfield role. He's able to drop in deep. He's able to play as a sort of playmaker. He's able to push on and play just behind the striker. So he's quite versatile in the midfield role. He can play deep and he can also control. But I think what he does like to do is get the ball, and that goes hand in hand with our philosophy. So certainly you guys, I can understand why everyone's very excited if we were to go out and sign him, but I would exercise caution there because he's going to be expensive. There's going to be a lot of clubs interested in him, and I think it's very early yet towards any deal. But like I say, he's not at the Euros, which means that negotiations, if they are happening, will continue in the next couple of weeks. They're not going to be affected by tournament football. Pjanić is currently on holiday, so he's free right now. Roma are free as well, so expect these rumours to continue for some days, for some weeks. Who knows how long these are going to drag on for. But like I say, at this moment in time, before we've signed anyone, before we've got our priority signings out the way, I'm not really sure that we're going to be going in for quite an expensive midfield player. But at the same time, do not rule it out. So leave your thoughts down below, guys, because I'm always interested to hear what you've got to say. Thank you all for the suggestions coming. Keep them coming, because over the summer I'm going to be trying to do as many videos as possible for you. Of course, there's so many transfer rumours to get through, so many different stories to bring you, so I'm going to be trying to do as many of those as I can possibly manage. But of course, all your suggestions in the comments are really helpful, because if I'm ever around looking to do a video, I'll look in the comments and see that somebody wants a video on Pjanić, etc. I'm more than happy to do that, and it's been great again to do the video for you today, guys. I hope this video was useful for you, because I know a lot of people are excited about the possibility of signing Pjanić, and I'm sorry to sort of rain on that parade by saying that we aren't quite having, that chance to sign him. But I think we could do it. I just think that right now, at this very moment, at the start of the transfer window, it's a bit short for us because we've still got more important signings to make. But once we sign those, it's very, very possible that we could go back into the market. And like I say, it all depends on who's leaving this summer. So leave your thoughts as always down below, guys. Excited to hear those. I'll be back very, very soon for another video. But until then, as always, Vesca El Barça.